What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're just going to give a quick market update on where Bitcoin's at. Bitcoin has fell quite a bit from where it was at a few weeks ago. So a few weeks ago, just a few days ago, like on 26th of May, it was at like around 83K, and now we've gone down to like 73K. So we're kind of down 10K in a span of few days. But in the grand scheme of things, it's just like pretty much a normal drop. But where are we gonna go from here? So this is a move we were talking about for the past month now. Yeah, so basically Bitcoin is probably on its way down to like lower valuations. I'm expecting at least 50K, and at worst maybe we'll hit like 40K Bitcoin. And there's a few things why I think that this is gonna happen. Watch our previous videos on why, but then if we just look at historically where Bitcoin's at, so just giving you guys a refresher on this chart. This is basically the price of Bitcoin, and these bands are just a predictive logarithmic regression model that's fit to all the data. And you can see it does pretty well at capturing the bounds of where Bitcoin is at. The middle line is basically fair value, and if it goes below, it's undervalued, above, it's overvalued. You can see it's pretty much still in the middle. And then if we normalize this graph so that it becomes, just a normal 0 and 1, you can see we're still up here, right? And if we use a back-tested version of this model, so we're running it on every time step and not just the full time step on everything, this is what it looks like. You can see historically we've gone below this like 0.3 risk. Last cycle we went to the 0.2 risk, but the cycle before that we hit the 0.3 risk. The 0.3 risk right now is at around 60K. So we should at least get that. There are several indicators that are all still showing that it is still probably not there yet. So an example of a indicator that does show that is, for example, just like the drawdowns. So if we just look at the drawdowns and gains of Bitcoin, let's untick this. So here you can see the drawdowns. The top chart is the price of Bitcoin. The bottom chart is basically just the percentage drawdown of Bitcoin from like a 1 year period. Yeah, you can see, for example, during 2 cycles ago, the maximum drawdown we reached was 83%, and the cycle before now, the 1 year drawdown was around 75%. Right now we're just at the 49% drawdown, so this isn't even that's not even more than 2021, which was still like the bull market, right? So you can see in the stop bar, 2021 had the second hump, and like the 1 year drawdown was just 53%. So in this cycle like pattern, we've only done 49% drawdown on a daily close, and it just seems unlikely that this is going to be it, considering other cycles we've gone much lower. Obviously there's going to be some diminishing losses, but maybe we hit at least 62%. We're still at 49, so I think there's still going to be one more leg down probably. If we look at time wise, this is what we've been talking about again and again, and in previous cycles. You just look at the time it took for the tops to hit like these bottoms, and it's like 368 days for the previous cycle. The cycle before that was probably almost the same. So from the top, yeah, this is relatively the bottom. This is also 368. So yeah, this looks like it's playing out. In the previous video that we talked about fear and greed. So this is the fear and greed index, and the pattern we were talking about is usually during these corrections, Bitcoin trends sideways. So again, the top chart is the price of Bitcoin, the bottom chart is the fear and greed index. So you can see, for example, the price of Bitcoin was trending up. It hit like this kind of plateau where the greed spikes, which corresponds to like a price local top. So yeah, that was happening from November until January, and then when the fear and greed index spiked, that's the start of it going down with the price. And this is also happening. So you can see, for example, this like kind of plateau and slightly biased up. So you can see that's also been happening here. So from February, it's been going up. And a few weeks ago, May 11th, we had this like topping process wherein the fear and greed index was like flashing, and yeah, now it's going back down. Granted, this pattern is slightly different because this is kind of like multiple tops, while this one was just like one spike. The previous one before that was also just like one kind of spike-ish. and it did fall down. But yeah, so it looks like this is playing out again. Yeah, so if this is like time-wise similar to the previous one, you can see the spike happened in January 15, and the bottom occurred at around February 5. So that's like a month move. So if we just had this the same way, this spike is at May 12, so maybe around June 12. Yeah, around June 12, we'll see like this bottoming. Right now, we're still at May. Yeah, so the next crash could be around June. But I'm not sure if that will be the final crash. It's gonna really depend on the price of Bitcoin at that point. If there is another leg down, it might hit around the 60K level. Historically, though, when we're looking at like these 1 year moves, right? 1 year still gets us to right around October, I think. So if we put that this one, yeah. So yeah, it's still October. So the timeline between June to October, I feel like is gonna be the window where it like gonna be like sort of a definitive-ish bottom, whether or not we retest 60K or we go much lower than that. So yeah, it really depends on what's happening. But yeah, so right now I think that Bitcoin was rejected from this 80K level, and it looks like the bear market is still going on. If we follow and extrapolate previous patterns, it looks like we're still headed lower. Definitely, I think we're gonna revisit 60K. Whether or not we reach 50 or 40K is still up for debate, right? We don't know, and no one really knows. But at least how I'm navigating the market right now is I'm pretty much just gonna wait around October, or if we do hit 40K or 50K in the next leg down, that's probably where I'm gonna scale in. Or at around October, where it usually bottoms, I'll probably be more inclined to buy Bitcoin then, if it hasn't reached those target price levels. Yeah, so that's basically just the market update. It seems like the move that we've been talking about previous weeks has been playing out. Definitely, we talked about how, at 80K it's probably gonna get rejected and fall down. Now it's gotten rejected and it has fell down. So now we're just waiting for it to fall down even more. Probably hit like these 0.3 or 0.2 risk bands. Yeah, so basically that's just the update. If you guys like this video, yeah, follow me and I'll see you guys next time.